After having successfully applied for the University of Miami exchange programs, you are about to embark on an extraordinary journey. A journey that I have embarked myself on in 2019. In this video, I would like to answer some of the most pressing questions and give you a little overview of what it's like to live and study here in Miami. Before we start, I need to address two disclaimers though. First of all, this video won't cover any of the University of Miami application processes, as those can strongly depend on your own home institution. And also, if you need any more information about the processes here at UM, you can always look into the exchange student handbook that the study abroad office will provide. Second of all, I'm from Europe, so some things that might be very special here in the US for me might not be special for you. I nonetheless hope that you can get some great information from this video. Think about Miami, they think about sunshine, they think about Miami Beach, and there most certainly is a reason why Florida is called the Sunshine State. You won't need a thick winter jacket when you come here, but you might think about a nice rainy jacket and a sturdy umbrella. Especially during hurricane season, Miami can be kind of moist, so that means that especially young, unexperienced exchange students are often caught in very nasty rain, extreme rainfall that can kill smartphones and might soak you through entirely. So my suggestion for the day would be to get a nice and sturdy umbrella. And this one can also double as a nice sun protection device. When you've successfully applied to the University of Miami and talk about housing, there are basically two options you have as an exchange student or freshman. Those would be living on or off campus. If you're living on campus as an exchange student, you're also considered to be a freshman. That means you will need to stay in one of the shared dormitory rooms here on campus. They do give you the full American college experience though, which is actually quite similar to the movies. Living on campus is generally considered to be the safest and most convenient option, but there can also be great alternatives found off campus. When I applied for my study abroad program here and for student housing in fall 2019, there was a bit of a housing shortage, let's say, so my friends and I didn't actually get a spot in student housing, which was kind of a bummer, but in the end websites like Airbnb helped us find a fantastic alternative off campus. Those shortages in student housing should be resolved at least by August 2020, when this fantastic new student village opens. One more thing you need to know about off-campus housing as well is, if you're looking into an alternative, please make sure that you are informed about your neighborhood, because not all parts of Miami are created equally. Transportation here in Miami is a bit of a difficult topic. That's because the real urban development here in Miami took place during the 50s and 60s, when cars already were around. That's why most of Miami is designed to fit cars. This means you can get around Miami best in a car. However, having your own car might be unattainable for you as an exchange student. So there are two options for you if you want to travel longer distances. The first one would be public transport, buses and the tram. And the second one would be Uber and Lyft. The problem here in Miami is, in contrast to many European cities for example, public transportation isn't very good. For some places it's very hard to get there by public transport, and it might even take you some hours. So a very good alternative is to rely on ride-sharing services like Uber or Lyft. This is something you should consider though when you plan your budget for your stay in Miami. Considering short distances, walking isn't really an option here in Miami. In many cases, they don't really have any sidewalks that you can walk on, so getting a bike is actually one of the best options. The University of Miami Police Department has some great bike auctions where they auction off bikes that have been left on campus. You can get some great bikes for a reasonable price there, and your money that you pay for the bikes will actually be donated to charity. I got my bike there, and what I really suggest is getting one of those helmets, because Miami drivers really suck at driving. If you want to get one of those absolutely gorgeous bikes, the UM Police Department hosts an auction for bikes that have just been left behind on campus every semester, and you can really get some nice bikes for an absolute bargain. The proceeds of those auctions will be donated to charity, so absolutely no regrets. And if you register your bike with the University of Miami Police Department, you will even get one of those beautiful free locks for safety as well. To meal plans, there are several different versions available, and depending on how many times a day you want to eat, you can choose either one of those. If you have a meal plan, you will be able to dine in one of those fantastic dining halls and choose whatever food you like from one of those fantastic places. If you live off campus though, and you decide not to get a meal plan, which you absolutely could, but you decide to cook, then there are several grocery stores around campus, but they tend to be a bit on the pricey side. So what I found out for me personally is the best alternative, and the most convenient one as well, is to get my food delivered from Walmart on a weekly basis. This is the cheapest and most convenient. A variety of different fast food stores or restaurants around campus. But if you live on campus, you will also be required to get a meal plan. Depending on where you're from, studies at the University of Miami can be very different from what you've experienced at your home institution. For me, they most certainly have been very different. In none of my classes there are more than 40 people, and the professor usually actually knows your name. Participation, especially active participation, is also not only wished for, but also in many cases graded. And whilst I would have experienced one final exam at the end of the semester, here you most often have multiple exams spread out during the whole semester, and multiple assignments and group works to play into your overall grade as well. Within the south of the United States, nearly every building is equipped with an AC, which is absolutely fantastic if you want to sleep or have a relaxing time at all, because otherwise it won't really be possible, because it can really be hot outside. But on the other hand, in many public places the AC is set to an extraordinarily low temperature, so if you don't prepare properly you might actually freeze to death in one of those places. What I would suggest is for you to get a pair of jeans and a hoodie with you, and probably get them in your university bag or anything so you can take them with you. There are additional points awarded to those who actually get one of those University of Miami branded hoodies. Because it's very important, let's also talk about health insurance. So when you enroll at University of Miami, you will also automatically be enrolled in the UM health insurance program. This will cover most typical cases and cost you about $1,700 per semester. This enrollment for exchange students is mandatory, so you wouldn't really have a chance to choose anything else. One thing you must consider though is that the health insurance plan only starts with the beginning of the semester, and not necessarily with the point in time where you get into the United States. So what you might want to consider is that you might need additional coverage for those transitional periods that you are in the United States. If you enroll to University of Miami, you will have access to extraordinary sports facilities. I'm right now in the Patty and Ellen Herbert Wellness Center. for which you need to pay mandatory fees at the beginning of semester, but then you will have the opportunity to train here anytime you want. They have got fantastic opening hours, so you can train basically at any time of the day. And you can also enroll in many of UM's different sports courses, like scuba diving or boxing. Those might charge you additional fees, but they are a great experience and a great way to meet new people on University of Miami. Whew. One thing you should also consider is that the University of Miami has great student athletes, and with your enrollment at University of Miami you will be eligible for free tickets to all University of Miami events at the home stadium. The University of Miami football team, for example, plays at the Hard Rock Stadium right in Miami, where the Miami Dolphins also play. It's truly extraordinary. And tickets, as I said, will be free for any students, as well as transport from the university campus right to the stadium. One small piece of advice for all of you is that the University of Miami, since this year I think, hosts a wonderful student zone with free food right underneath the stadium just before the game. So don't miss it. Hope we could help you with this video to get a deeper understanding of what it's like here in Miami. Have safe travels and see you soon. Go Canes!